Hi guys, welcome back to the channel on this very cold February afternoon. So this afternoon we're going to be looking at my latest upgrade. It was my little birthday present to myself, well, quite a big birthday present to be honest. The birthday present in question was the AIM MX2E digital dash, specifically designed for the Lotus Elise and Exige. And in combination with that, at the same time I had the reversing camera installed. The reason being, as most of you know, I hope, it's very difficult to see out the back of the Lotus, and I thought it would be a good aid and quite a cool feature to have basically. So if we look at the camera mounting first, and then we'll have a look at the dash. So I decided to have it fitted by Lotus Silverstone. The reason for that being that although I felt fairly confident about mounting the dash itself, because it's a very simple, almost plug and play device, the problem with the camera was routing cabling through the car. As we can see, tiny little camera here. It's very nice quality, aluminium housing, fits completely flush on the rear diffuser. But the cabling obviously has to go up through the car, round into the cabin. Ideally you need to put the car on a ramp to do that easily. Obviously I haven't got a ramp, and I'm not particularly enthusiastic in -1 weather conditions. So the cabling goes up, round, behind the battery, through a grommet on the sidewall, through into the engine, through into the cockpit obviously, and then across the cockpit and into the dash. Now the dash itself is a nice piece of equipment. It's finished complete with a matching binnacle, which is almost the same as the original Lotus binnacle. It's made out of a reasonable quality plastic. The only difference really is it has more of a flat top, and it has keys on both the left and the right hand sides. They took about 5 hours to install it, so it took quite a long time, but they've done quite a nice job. And I've had it for, well, just basically a day and a bit now, so I've had a reasonable chance to drive the car. I drove it home from the garage obviously, and then I've had it out again today. There are a lot of features with the dash that unlock through software which you connect via Wi-Fi. Unfortunately I haven't got a modern up-to-date laptop, because nearly all my devices are basically things like phones and tablets, so I haven't got anything with Windows on it. I'm going to borrow a laptop of a mate's later to mess around with some of the settings, but I've messed around with the settings that I can through the dash by itself. So as you can see, I've started up the engine and we've sparked into life. The display that I'm using is the digital display. There's a choice of 2 and a choice of 4 colours I believe: yellow, white, purple and blue. I chose the blue simply because I like it, and it also handily matches the fact that I have a blue car. On the dash we have a number of external indicators, so we have main beam, we have engine fault, we have side lights. For some reason we don't have dip beam, I'm not sure why exactly. We have handbrake application, fuel indicator, immobilizer, and a recording. Actually I think that's a light sensor, because it does have an option for automatic brightness control. On the right hand side of the display here you've got your fuel indicator, on the left hand side your temperature indicator, centrally your gear selection, and then your speed indicator. And then along the bottom we've got whether you're recording, if you're recording your lap data. We've got the mode you're in with regards to driving mode, so standard, sport or race, airbag indicator, electrical fault indicator, your traction control, your ABS, your seat belt, battery, oil, timer, another side light, and then your fog lights. At the bottom you've got on the right hand side your clock, and then you've got your trip, distance and your overall car mileage. There was quite a lot of messing around with regards to getting the mileage programmed into it. That was another one of the reasons why I wanted to go to a dealership to make sure that was done properly. But yeah, apparently they had a lot of trouble getting that set up through AIM. So while we're here, let's have a look at some of the features. So again, lights, side lights, indicator comes on. As I've said, when you put your regular beam on, nothing happens. I don't know why they decided to omit that. But then we've got obviously fog lights and your main beam. Turn those off. So to mess around with it, you just need to touch this button up the top left hand side. That gets you into the menu system. To be honest, most of the things you can mess around with will be in this preferences section, but you can cycle through a number of different overall menus. So we've got track manager, which is obviously for when you're using it on track. Your reverse camera, you can go in and mess around with the settings on that. Trip, Wi-Fi connection, system info, which obviously tells you your firmware and everything, which is up to date on mine. So if we go back around to preferences and we click the top right hand button for OK, that then lets us mess around with the preferences. So if we cycle down, we can go in and set up our vehicle. Shift lights I want to do, but you can only do it through the software, so haven't done that yet. Measuring units is obviously miles versus kilometers. Date and time, self-explanatory. And then at the bottom we've got backlight control, so you can mess around with the illumination level of the screen. So if we go back up to display, because I can quickly show you some things in there, and click enter. So at the moment it shows you the layout that you've got. If we go down to theme, we can then change that from digital to analog and vice versa. If we go down to your colors, we can then cycle through all the different colors available and decide whichever one you want. So if we come out, you can see if I dab the throttle, we get a nice little rev counter there. It'll only let you do your adjustments through the menu system while you're stationary. Unfortunately, I can't show you it in action because I have no way of mounting the camera at this position so you can get a good view of the screen. A few of the little niggles I've had with it, for some reason it disables your HVAC lights, your backing lights. I think that is because in order for this to work, or the reversing camera to work should I say, the reversing camera is actually connected to your internal illumination button down on the right hand side of your column here. So that allows you to switch into reverse camera mode basically from any position, whether you're driving, stationary or whatever. Press the button and as you can see we get a nice view out the back of the car. Press the button again and you go back to dash. It is not connected to the reverse gear unfortunately, and there's no way to do that unless you've got a sequential gearbox. If you're in manual, which obviously 99% of us are unless you've had some major work done in your car, you'll be doing it manually. It has its advantages and disadvantages, but because of the button it uses in order to activate it, it's actually really quite easy. The other thing that you need to take in mind is you need to teach it your gear ratios. So you have to put it in a teach mode, which you can do from the menu system, and then work your way through your gears one after the other, not missing any. It then uses telemetry from the ECU and matching your revs and a few other pieces of information to work out which gear you are in. When it's set, it's quite accurate. I had problems with it on the way home from the dealership. I don't think they'd done it properly, and it was a gear ahead. But having redone it today, it's pretty much spot on. You can catch it out sometimes on the downshift, but only for a split second, and then it realizes what gear you're in as soon as the clutch is engaged. So immediate feelings about the dash are that it's a very nice quality piece of kit. It certainly looks the business. The reversing camera is a big plus for me. If you're a track goer, then all those track features will be very advantageous to you working on your lap times. The shift lights, when they're activated, will appear along this upper bar here. They'll be nice to see. I've heard that a few taller people can't really see them, which is a bit of a pain in the backside because the top of the steering wheel gets in the way. Fortunately, I don't really have that problem because this is kind of about my view, so I should be able to see them when they're up and running. Unfortunately, not just quite yet. There is meant to be a software fix hopefully coming out to fix the HVAC issue. When that is, I don't know. It's a little bit annoying, but it's not really a deal breaker. Other than that, I'm pretty happy. I want to change the top of the binnacle, so I'd really like that to be Alcantara. I have actually bought some nice new Alcantara in a dark grey colour, which should pretty much match my seats. And I'm going to redo my airbag cover, which is currently black, and then redo the binnacle as well. It's going to be a bit of a pain to do because of the buttonholes and also because it's glued together, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to get that apart, but that's I'm sure I can get around it with enough perseverance. So that's it for today, guys. That's the AIM MX2E dash for the Lotus Elise and Exige. Any questions, comments, just comment below. See you next time.